Welcome back to another episode of the Mormon News Roundup. Buckle up, folks, because we've got a massive episode lined up for you today. We're not talking about your average Deseret book fluff piece. Oh no. This one's going to ruffle some white shirts. That's right. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Bradley R. Wilcox, is in the house. You might know him from his viral BYU firesides, his uncanny ability to smile through awkward doctrine, or his spiritual TED Talks for teens. But this ain't your grandma's EFY, no sir. For the first time ever, Brother Wilcox is stepping outside the LDS echo chamber and into a real conversation with someone who doesn't drink the tainted Kool-Aid. That's right, me. No pre-screened questions, no scripted testimonies, no mutual admiration society. This is the real deal. This episode is not just groundbreaking, it's testimony shaking. So grab your green cello, adjust your CTR ring, and prepare yourself for some cognitive dissonance. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Mormon News Roundup, your go-to source for the latest headlines and critical analysis on all things LDS.
Breaking news.
Join D-Vay's
Mormon News Roundup.
That's talent on loan from Kolob every Sunday and Monday night.
We will uncover the truth behind the news that matters most to the Mormon community.
I'm not going to beat around the burning bush here, Brad. Let's just get straight to it. Why is it that so many people literally hate your guts? I mean, seriously. You've managed to offend pretty much every marginalized group in the church and still get invited to speak at BYU like it's a fireside residency. So let's talk about it. What's going on there? I mean, hello, Brother Wilcox. I mean, some people have gone so far as to call you the most toxic Mormon general officer in church history. It's a very competitive field. We're talking about a church that gave us McConkey's Mormon doctrine, Dallin Oaks' anti-gay crusades, and literally blood atonement. Yet somehow you've climbed the ranks of controversy like it's a priesthood virtue.
You think about things like this?
Oh, I'll bet you do. Now, Brad, word on the street, and by street, I mean the Exmo Reddit boards, a few rogue seminary teachers, and a couple of janitors that work at church headquarters, is that you've got a pretty rocky relationship with President Russell Marion Nelson Sr. Some folks are even saying that that's a big reason why you got quietly released from the Young Men's General Presidency in early 2025. No fanfare, no thank yous, just poof, gone. So let's just pretend for a second that you get one unscripted, off-the-record moment with President Nelson. What would you say to him? Be honest.
I think you ought to die and donate your brain to science.
Wow, finally a general authority willing to speak truth to power, with a scalpel and a cadaver tray on standby. I mean, donate your brain to science? That's bold stuff, my friend. That's not just throwing some shade. That's planting a whole forest. Honestly, buddy, you might just have out-Iringed President Eyring with that emotional whiplash. For a moment there, I thought you were going to bury your testimony, but instead you delivered what can only be described as a roast of RMN.
I think you ought to die and donate your brain to science.
And here I was worried that this interview was going to be boring. All right, buddy boy, let's talk about the 800-pound elephant in the room. And no, I'm not talking about the debunked Book of Abraham. I'm talking about you and your long, uncomfortable track record of saying things that many people both in and out of the church have called blatantly sexist and racist. I mean, where do you think your deep-rooted racism comes from? I mean, honestly, was this just the doctrinal Kool-Aid you were drinking growing up? Or is there something else going on here? Because if there's a racism rehab center for general authorities, your name would be first on the list, gold-plated. I'm guessing all the racism stuff started when you were a kid?
But then we moved back to the United States when I was about 8 years old. And my mom says I came home from school the first day. Now, I don't remember this, but she says I came home from school crying. And when she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Mom, everybody's white."
Now it's all starting to make sense. Everyone's white, and you cried. And thus began your villain origin story. Honestly, Brother Wilcox, I think we're really peeling back the layers here, aren't we? That moment right there, the birth of the Wilcox white superiority complex. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable with us today. It's not every day that a church leader opens up about the traumatic experience of being surrounded by people who look exactly like him. Truly heartbreaking. But hey, self-awareness is the first step, am I right?
What on earth is that all about?
All right, Sparky, here's the next question I've got. And I hope you're sitting in one of those luxury church-provided armchairs when you answer it. What's it like being a pampered general authority? I mean, let's be real. The cushy pension, the Cadillac-level healthcare, the first-class flights to places you can't even pronounce. And let's not forget the best perk of all, zero accountability. Seriously, what's it like lying for the Lord while gallivanting around the globe pretending to speak on behalf of, Mormon Jesus? Do the perks come with a punch card, like 5 firesides and you get a free upgrade to celestial business class? I mean, walk us through a day in the life of spiritual royalty. Enlighten us peasants.
We soon found out that not only were we going to be representing America, but we also represented the church. So there we were in our red, white, and blue uniforms, and they were taking us from place to place.
This all sounds pretty cushy, Brad. So tell me, when you're out on the road preaching the glorious polygamous gospel of Joseph Smith, what do they feed you anyway? I mean, are we talking continental breakfast at the Courtyard Marriott? Or do you get something a little more celestial? Is it green jello with the tears of apostates? Funeral potatoes garnished with tithing receipts? Give us the inside scoop, literally. What's on the menu for the Lord's pampered mouthpieces?
They gave us a big meal. It was half of a chicken and all these vegetables. Well, we ate the meal. We slept that night in the hotels. And then early the next morning, they got us up and put us on a train to France.
Well, Brother Wilcox, that does sound yummy. Now let's get into something a bit spicier that's been stirring up all kinds of controversy. You know the word Mormon. Yeah, you know the one. The word that the church is apparently at war with. According to President Nelson, if you say Mormon, you're basically inviting Satan to your next sacrament meeting. So here's the $1 million question, buddy. Do you sustain President Nelson on that? Or do you prefer to call yourself a Latter-day Saint? You know, the term that was rebranded with all the subtlety of a corporate logo change?
And we said, yeah, we're the Mormons.
Oh, I think I understand you. Throwing Russell Nelson under the bus, are we? Oh, Brad, you're a wild one. But fine, I'll admit it. I actually sustain you on this one.
I'm not really thirsty.
Now let's get down to the real theological meat and potatoes here. What do you think is the #1 most important precept that distinguishes Mormons from other faith traditions? You know, what is the core of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? I mean, aside from the business model that keeps you flying first class and sipping from the celestial Kool-Aid pitcher, is it the whole restored gospel thing? Is it the magic underwear? The never-ending quest for perfection? Or is it just that trademark Mormon humility where every casual conversation turns into a gospel opportunity? Let's hear it, my dude. What's the thing that makes Mormonism so unique?
We believe in being honest, true, chased by an elephant.
Wow, that must be something from the latest temple updates, huh? I guess I missed that one too. Must have been buried between the eternal increase and the we're not a cult lesson. Anyway, enough about me grilling you. I'll admit it. I've been dominating this conversation like a general authority at the pulpit. So here's your chance, Chief. Is there anything that you want to ask me? Ask away. And I promise not to dodge your questions like it's a question about LDS church history.
Why don't you smoke? Why don't you drink? Why do you turn your coffee cups over in the morning?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm probably avoiding smoking and drinking because I was brainwashed by my LDS parents since I was a baby to avoid them. But hey, let's be real here, just for the sake of discussion. What if I did enjoy the occasional nice hot cup of joe? You know, just a nice warm cup of sinful joy to get through the day. How do you think Elohim, Jehovah, and Michael might feel about that?
And it's kind of a slap in the face for God because he gave us these bodies because he loves us.
Oh, give me a break, Brad. Okay, so coffee's out, but can I at least drink some tea? I mean, we're getting into some seriously shady territory here. Is it just the caffeine that sends me to the lowest level of outer darkness? Or does the Lord have a specific vendetta against steeped leaves? Tell me, Brad. Where do we draw the line? Can I sip a nice Earl Grey and still make it to the celestial kingdom? And God forbid if I ever throw a little milk in there. I mean, how far can I go before I'm officially apostate?
And what good red-blooded, red, white, and blue American kid doesn't drink iced tea?
I mean, yeah, that's my entire point here, my brother. Like and subscribe? All right, big guy. I got a couple of questions from my Patreon supporters that they demanded that I ask to you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give them a voice here. So many people have been saying that President Nelson isn't really a prophet. Now, I'm not one to judge, but I mean, he sure as heck doesn't look like a prophet to me. I mean, where's the glow? You know, the aura. The I'm a divinely inspired spokesperson for God vibe. If I showed up to a sacrament meeting and saw someone who looked like that in charge, I'd probably think I was walking into a corporate board meeting, not a revelation-filled spiritual event. So what's your take here, Brother Wilcox? Do you really believe that President Nelson is a prophet? Or are we all just caught up in another long-running church PR campaign?
David O. McKay was the only modern prophet who had the distinction of really looking like a prophet.
100% my shizzle. Oops, I meant to say your holiness. And speaking of prophets, my homie, how do you feel about the fact that Russell Nelson hasn't even left the state of Utah since 2020? I mean, we're talking about the so-called prophet of the entire restored gospel and the entire world, and the man can't seem to make it past the state line. The only thing he's crossing is the distance between his luxury tax-exempt condo and church headquarters. At this point, I'd half expect him to announce that he's doing a worldwide tour, but the only places on the list would be like Salt Lake City and Provo, Utah. So tell me, Brad, how does this play into the whole inspired leader thing? Does he just get his divine revelations delivered via Zoom now?
President McKay was the first modern prophet who toured the entire world.
Well, I guess the apple fell far from the tree when it came to President Rusty, didn't it? Now, changing gears here, let's talk about the Black Menaces. What was the first thing that popped into your head when you saw them protesting your racist comments outside of your cushy office at Brigham Young University, Provo?
Who are all these kids?
Kids, dude, come on. Now, bro, we both know that you've had the spectacular pleasure of following my career here on the Mormon News Roundup. So tell me, how do you feel about how this channel is going absolutely viral? You know, millions of people are tuning in every Sunday night from the crossroads of the East, enjoying the drama and gossip far more than boring general conference addresses. So how do you personally feel watching this inspired program from your cushy office at church headquarters? Are you worried that I'm exposing the truth, or are you just sitting back and enjoying the popcorn?
I have followed your career since you were a child. I have watched you all these years, but there's something different about you. Don't you deny it. There's something different about you now, and I want to know what it is. What's this light that you have now that you never had before?
Well, I'm flattered, buddy, and I do appreciate that, but it's called an Elgato Ring Glow Camera. I mean, you can get one on Amazon if you want. Again, I want to open up the floor here. Ask me anything. My life's an open book. What do you want to know?
Are you an angel?
An angel? Well, I do have the heavenly glow, I've been told, but I'm more of a fallen one, if you catch my drift. But hey, if I were an angel, I'd be the kind that calls out a few divine contradictions every now and then. No wings, just straight talk and a cheap microphone. So no, mi amigo, I'm not an angel, just a humble mortal. But we can do that Doctrine and Covenants handshake test thing just to be sure if you really want.
All right, I want you to take out a piece of paper.
Say what?
And I want you to write the name Jesus on the piece of paper.
Okay.
Put the paper on the floor.
Sure, mate, whatever you say.
Stomp on Jesus.
Stomp on the Prince of Peace? Are you sure? Like, the theists are gonna be pissed off, buddy. Well, they always are, to be honest, on this channel. You really want me to stomp on Jesus? I don't know if I can do that.
Stomp on Jesus. You need to follow this direction.
Fine, whatever. You're the heaven-sent general authority with the second anointing. Not me. Here we go. Like this? I hope you're happy, dude. You probably cost me like 5 subs. Now, changing gears, the Black Menaces were threatened with school punishment for simply wanting to literally just have a talk with you about your racist comments. Sebastian Stewart Johnson, in particular, ran into issues at BYU for trying to hold you accountable.
He was suspended from school. He was punished. The university brought academic charges against him.
Yeah, that's the entire problem here. That's immoral. That's wrong. Luckily, some independent journalists finally brought the story to light.
Well, long story short, when the news media caught wind of this and the story got out, then the university changed its tune. They issued their apology.
Yeah, for once, right? It's pretty rare to see someone at BYU actually trying to do the right thing and call out the toxic behavior that's been swept under the rug for far too long. Now, Brad, when you made your fake apology, your dutiful wife stood by your side. And I've got to ask, what kind of cognitive dissonance must it take for her to continue living with someone like you who's so openly racist?
It takes courage sometimes to live those beliefs, not just in private, but in public, when other people are watching and where what we stand for is far from being politically correct or popular.
Fine, whatever floats your boat. I mean, my guy, it's pretty obvious at this point that you're not exactly up to the mark for being a Mormon general authority anymore, which is probably why you were just released. I mean, come on, just be honest about it for once. It's time for you to admit to all of our Mormon News Roundup listeners that you're not cut out to be a general authority.
I'm not worthy to pray. I'm not worthy to go to church. I'm not worthy to take the sacrament. Oh, I'm not worthy to go to the temple. I'm not worthy to go on a mission.
Well, for once, I completely agree with you. Now, as we're wrapping things up here, Bland Wilcox, it's been a wild ride, and thank you for dropping all of those truth bombs. It's not every day that we get a general authority willing to sit down and give us a full-on, unfiltered look at their barking mad beliefs. I mean, whether they're enlightening or terrifying. Now, as we close things out here, what's your final message to the thousands or even millions of people tuning in every Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to D-Days and the Mormon News Roundup?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for letting these few hours focus us on what's most important, what really matters. It's been an rejuvenating, refreshing, invigorating time for me, and I hope it's been the same for you.
All right, boss. Before we wrap up, let me just say this. It's been a real treat having you on the program today. Kind of like an EFY talk, but with a little more grit and a lot less, I'm here to love you no matter what. You've really given us a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes life of the pampered general authority. And let's just say, I think we all left here a little more enlightened and maybe even a little less skeptical of green jello. Thanks for keeping it real. Sort of. Until next time, folks, keep questioning, keep laughing, and remember, no unhallowed hand can stop the Mormon News Roundup from progressing.
Break our bad habits. Look in his eyes.
Would you like my drink?
Wait, the weird thing about those Mormons, and that's why it's so essential that we come. What do y'all believe? And y'all are the Mormons. What?
Gwen.
We gave it to him. Jewish kid. The other half of the chicken.
I'm not really thirsty.
The Mormons that we come. What? Full head of white hair. Whoa. Called down fire from heaven. Look into my eyes. What on earth is that all about? Vio mis hijos? Get our families in order. Who are all these kids? To get our acts together. The other half of the chicken.
Huge thanks for watching Mormon News Roundup. Truly one of the best, maybe the best. My good friend D-Days, fantastic guy, doing incredible work. Remember, no unhallowed hand can stop the Mormon News Roundup from progressing. Like, subscribe. Everyone's saying it's a must-watch.